Running shouldn't feel this hard. You're not lazy or broken, you're likely being held back by one of 5 common reasons that have nothing to do with willpower or fitness. I'm a sports scientist, physiotherapist, and former professional triathlete. And in this video, I'll show you what's really making your runs harder and how to fix it so running finally feels easier. The first common reason is something called non-functional overreaching. Let me explain. We all know that to get better, we need to train hard. But here's the thing. Not all hard training works the same for everyone. When we push ourselves harder than usual for a short period, then our bodies react differently. Some people get better, so their bodies recover and they come back stronger. But others get worse. They feel more tired and sluggish for days, weeks, or even months after the training. This is called overtraining. And according to a scientific review from 2020, there are 3 types of overtraining. Functional overreaching, where you train hard, get a little worse temporarily, but then bounce back stronger. This can be part of a smart training plan. Non-functional overreaching, where you train hard, but you don't get better after. You stay tired and you don't improve. And overtraining syndrome, which is the worst version. You train too much, feel awful, and your performance drops for a long time. It can take months to recover. So that begs the question. When should we push and when should we back off? Coaches often push athletes into functional overreaching, knowing that they will have a slight dip in performance, but are hoping that they'll come back stronger. This is called supercompensation. But here's the twist. Just seeing a dip in performance is not enough to know what's going on. There are many factors that affect how we respond to training, such as sleep and nutrition, stress and genetics. So how do you know if you're overreaching? And that's the reason your running feels harder than it should. Overreaching happens when you train hard but don't recover enough. At first, it's part of the process, so your performance might dip. But if that dip in performance lasts for more than a few days where you recover, then you're heading into trouble. Warning signs include a higher resting heart rate, poor sleep, and lower motivation, and also the feeling of harder runs. It will also show with what's called heart rate variability, or HRV. Now, HRV is basically just the differences between 2 different heartbeats. So, if you have a resting heart rate of 60 beats per minute, then your heart is not beating every second. It might beat at 0.8 seconds and then again at 1.2 seconds. The bigger the variation between beats, the better. Most smartwatches today will show you that number if you sleep with it. So how do we fix overreaching? We need to prioritize sleep, eating enough, and then having an easier week every 3 to 4 weeks. If things feel off for 3 days straight, then it's time to back off. Recovery is where the gains happen, not in the grind. The second reason running might feel harder than it should is iron, and it has nothing to do with strength training. In simple terms, iron helps your blood carry oxygen to your muscles. So no iron, no oxygen, no performance. Simple as that. As runners, especially marathoners, we lose iron in more ways than you think. Every time your feet hit the ground, that impact destroys a few red blood cells. We also sweat it out, and we might even have a few small internal bleedings when we do long, hard runs. I know it sounds horrible, but it really isn't. It makes us better in the long run. But if you're constantly tired and you can't hit your paces and your breathing is heavier, it might be iron deficiency, and it's more common than you'd think. So how do we know if we need more iron? If you think it applies to you, then a blood test is the best way to go. But you can also try to eat some foods higher in iron for a few weeks and see what happens. Things like red meat, leafy greens, and beans. And then pair them with some vitamin C for better absorption. Think steak and a glass of orange juice. If you're still low, then iron supplements can help. But don't try this yourself. Too much iron is dangerous. Always talk to a doctor first. Which brings us to the third reason that running might feel harder than it should. You see, if you're training and racing in endurance sports up to 3 hours, like running and cycling, then your body relies mostly on carbohydrates for energy. But what about fats? Some people say that a high-fat diet is the best if we want to run faster for longer. Well, according to this scientific review from 2015, carbs are essential during intense exercise, and high-fat diets don't help. and might even hurt performance. And studies have shown that running on low glycogen will elevate our perceived exertion and heart rate. So to find out if that's you, then try eating some more carbs around your run, like bananas or some orange juice, and then see if running feels easier. If it does, you probably need more carbohydrate. The fourth reason that running might feel harder than it should is what's called allostatic load. Let me explain. When I was competing at the highest level, I would train anywhere between 25 and 35 hours per week. And at the time, I was also studying to become a Bachelor in sports science and a certified physiotherapist. Every year, without fail, the same storm would hit me from every angle during early summer. We would have the World Championships, I would have final exams, and all the social gatherings at the same time. Now, if you just looked at my training plan on paper, then you'd be like, that looks fine. No overtraining, everything looks balanced. But here's the catch. Your body doesn't separate different types of stress. Training stress, life stress, emotional stress, everything goes in the same bucket. That's what scientists call allostatic load. The total strain on your body from everything. Not just training. And if you don't manage that total load, then your performance will drop. Your recovery will stall, and even worse, your risk of injury skyrockets. So during those chaotic months, my trainer and I would not just adjust the training. We adjusted everything. No late nights, no parties, no extra noise. It wasn't about being antisocial, it was about protecting performance. Because when training is peaking, something else has to give. And when training settles down, that's when you bring all the other stuff back. Dinners out, weddings, birthday parties, all the fun stuff. Remember that recovery is not just physical, it's also mental and emotional and hormonal. And if you ignore that, your body will let you know loud and clear. You will wake up groggy no matter how long you slept. Small stuff will set you off. Easy runs will feel extremely hard. You have a hard time focusing and your motivation dips. And your body just feels off, even though you can't explain why. These are red flags if they keep happening multiple days in a row. It's not just signs that you're tired. It's signs that your allostatic load is maxed out. And when that happens, the smartest thing you can do is to pull back. Not forever, just long enough for your system to reset. It might mean skipping a session, but it could also mean canceling dinner plans. So if you're like me and you just want to be the best and you want to perform at your running and with your family and at work, then don't wait until your body breaks down. Start listening now. That's how you actually get faster. But how do you know if you're overreaching or if you're just tired? If you're feeling drained after 3 days of recovery, then that's a red flag. So what's the difference between being tired and being overtrained? Overtraining lingers. Your body doesn't bounce back. You feel flat for weeks and your tiredness does not go away even when you sleep a lot. Tiredness goes away with proper rest. Overtraining does not. So can you track overtraining with heart rate or HRV? Yes. A rising resting heart rate and a lower HRV over time can be a solid sign of overtraining. Most smartwatches can track this if you sleep with it. I myself wear a Whoop strap for that exact reason. I am not affiliated in any way and I won't even leave an affiliate link, but I just feel like it's easier to wear that, and I know it's expensive AF. I just like their app. Can you be iron deficient even if you eat healthy? Yep. Especially if you train hard and you sweat a lot and you don't eat a lot of red meat. Common signs are fatigue and heavy legs and a high resting heart rate. So what blood test should you get if you think you are iron deficient? Ask for what's called ferritin. It's basically your body's iron storage. How do you know if you're eating enough carbs? If running feels harder than it should, your heart rate is higher than usual, or you fade mid-run, that might be signs that you're running low on fuel. I also find it harder to focus when I'm low on carbohydrates. Try more carbs and see what happens. What is allostatic load in simple terms? It's basically your total stress load. From training, work, having an argument with your spouse, and if you're not an extrovert, also from just being around other people. Your body doesn't separate these different stresses. It just takes it in as stress. How do you lower allostatic load without stopping training? Just simplify life outside of running in those heavy training periods. And don't plan your race in the same month that you have a ton of weddings and you also have that presentation at work and then you're also going for a PB. That's a surefire way to get injured. It's different for everyone, but just remove what takes away energy and include as much as possible of what gives you energy. And that's not social media. Last week, I had a conversation with an employee at Team Denmark, and they told me that they'd just done a study where they had a group of people watch a documentary, and then some were on social media, and then they had a swim test, and the people who were watching social media performed significantly worse every time. So a quick note: don't scroll your social media just before your race or your hard training. It will make you worse. So do you have to stop running to recover properly? Not always. Just a few easy sessions can sometimes be enough, as long as you listen early. So what's one thing you can do today to make running feel easier? Prioritize sleep, fuel properly, and then just take 10 minutes to breathe. Sometimes that's all your body needs. You can also try caffeine. It has been shown in multiple studies to suppress tiredness and make you run faster. And if running feels harder than it should, it might not even be for any one of these reasons. It might be because you don't have the correct type of rest. So to help you fix that, you should watch this video next.